And we're back with Tales of the Jedi, and yes, I know I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore in the last episode, and I promise that is not on purpose. I just looked through my wardrobe, I found this shirt, and I thought that'd be a good one for Tales of the Jedi. So I'm wearing it. I don't remember recording what I was wearing when I recorded the last episode, because that was a few weeks ago, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, carrying on with episode 2 of Tales of the Jedi, because I've got to catch up now, like seriously. I've got to finish off this, I've got to watch all of Andor, then I've got to catch up with Bad Batch as well, which is like on episode 7 at the moment. I have really got to catch up on this. So, yeah. I saw on Disney Plus that this episode will feature Count Dooku, and I know this is not a Star Wars autograph, but it is signed by Christopher Lee, and he played Count Dooku, so I had to find some way of honouring the guy. Unfortunately, Christopher Lee autographs are in short supply at the moment. Well, at the moment for all time now. There's a limited edition of these, so I don't care if it's not Count Dooku, it's Christopher Lee, so I'm taking it. And also, Qui-Gon Jinn Pop is out as well. The one thing that I took away from the last episode was an Ahsoka origin story, which is also awesome, and I said Ahsoka is my favourite female Star Wars character. She just is. She's that good. But the thing that shocked me well, I wouldn't say shocked me, because I should have expected it, but was how good this show looks. This show is beautiful. Like, the detail in the animation in the last episode was beautiful. I can only imagine the rest of the show is going to get better. Well, not necessarily get better, but the rest of the show is going to be just as good. And I just love this style of animation, the Clone Wars style of animation, because this show, it's more like the Clone Wars animation than it is the Rebels animation. And I think the Clone Wars animation is better, despite the fact that Rebels came after. But the Clone Wars always looked great in my opinion. Obviously some bits in the beginning are a bit choppy. But the way Clone Wars looked to the end was so beautiful. Bad Batch looks so beautiful, and this last episode just looked phenomenal. So yeah, I just love how good this show looks. But yeah, enough rambling, I've done enough of that. Let's get into Season 1, Episode 2 of Tales of the Jedi, starting right now! That's a Republic ship. Or a Jedi Republic ship. There he is. There he is. I know that's what Count Dooku looks like. And
we'll be arriving shortly, Master.
Set us down well clear of the village. Tensions are high enough.
Yes, Master.
He does not look like he should have that voice. Adam Driver should have played a young Count Dooku. Look at that. If this was in live action, Adam Driver should have played him. And I know it's Corey Burton as well, playing the Count Dooku again. Oh, bloody hell, it looks so good! Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Qui-Gon, you looked better when you were older. You looked better when you get older. Well, you've got stuff to look forward to. You'll look better when you get older. You're gonna die. I know you're gonna die, but still. At least you look good when you're older when you die.
Where are they holding the Senator's son?
Why should we tell you? Jedi.
You're here to help resolve the situation.
And when you entered this village, you could see the effects of his long-standing policies.
With due respect, if you don't like him, why not elect a new senator?
I wish it were that simple.
You're one of the kidnappers.
They all are.
They all took his son. But why though? Well, it sounds like he's a corrupt senator. So what dirty secrets is this politician holding? Because everyone has one. Okay. He's older than I thought he'd be.
Have you been treated well?
For a prisoner, yes. How could my father allow this to happen to his people?
You don't blame them for abducting you.
What choice do they have? The Senator. He's here.
They brought soldiers.
Oh,
You have deceived us.
bloody hell. Look at the armor on these guys. Oh. For payment.
She is hungry.
Oh.
Many would do the same.
Step aside, Jedi.
We cannot.
You serve the Senate.
No. We serve the people of this republic.
Oh.
Stand down.
I will not.
Hey. Oh. You better make sure you don't accidentally shoot through the wall into your son. Oh. Music's incredible as well.
I will destroy this town and make an example of it. And many others.
Dooku left the Republic because he thought they were corrupt.
Not even you, Master Jedi.
Oh.
Master!
Oh.
Go! Save your father.
What?
Go now.
Corruption like yours must be eradicated.
No! Stop!
Master. It's over.
Yeah, but how? Yeah, but how long until he does make an example of these people? He is going to make an example of them, though. It's going to happen. Like they're not just going to let. He's not just going to let this happen.
I will not allow your suffering to continue. I promise.
I wonder if any meaningful change will come of this.
Is that why you took action into your own hands?
Your actions saved many lives today.
Just thinking in the moment, Master.
Well then,
You're a much wiser man than I.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Thanks to your teachings.
Is that the end? Yep, that's the end. Ah, hey, I'm looking at the voice cast here. Corey Burton as armed villager and Dooku. We knew that. Michael Richardson as Qui-Gon Jinn. Mark Rolston as Senator Daggett. Josh Keaton as the Senator's son. And Vanessa Marshall as the village elder. I should have got Vanessa Marshall's autograph out. Obviously, no idea if she was going to be in this. But Vanessa Marshall, I've met her at Manchester Comic Con. She's lovely. So lovely. Like, if you ever have the chance to meet her, do so. She's very nice. But yeah, once again, I forget how short these stories are. So they came, Qui-Gon Jinn and Count Dooku, well, Master Dooku, Jedi Master Dooku, came here because of the disappearance, well, the kidnapping of Senator Daggenet's son. What they found was a village that is rotting, a village that is dying, people living in poverty. And they took this. It turns out the whole village was complicit in the kidnapping of the son because they want change. Their leader is failing them, and is, I imagine, doing so because of his own greed, his own selfishness, which is a very relatable thing when so many people feel screwed over by their government that they take drastic actions. The son, he does not he doesn't blame them for anything because he's one of those people, one of those idealistic people who sees exactly how these people have been treated and understands. He understands like why these people have taken him, and he understands what they're trying to do with his father to get change to happen. But honestly, like Count Dooku said towards the end, what will any real change come of this? And I said so in the reaction. Does this really matter? Does it really matter that he's not going to kill them? Is he just going to come back later and kill them for what they did? But yeah, so they found him pretty quickly. They found him very quickly, Count Dooku, and he stopped calling him Count Dooku because he's not Count Dooku in this just yet. But honestly, when I was watching it, it was so weird hearing that voice that I've associated with an evil character for so long, just on an evil old man, and just seeing him on a younger guy's face who's supposed to be a Jedi at this point. It's so weird because Count Dooku's voice in the show and in the movies is a very sinister voice. Christopher Lee's voice, and Corey Burton emulates it very well. Christopher Lee's voice is so evil sounding, like it's hard to picture Christopher Lee's voice coming out of a good character. And just hearing that come out of a character that's supposed to be our main protagonist for this episode it's a bit jarring. And I said so. If this was live action, Adam Driver should have played him because he's got that deeper voice, that deep baritone voice, that bass baritone voice, and he kind of looks like a young Count Dooku. Like if I'd put a picture of Adam Driver as Kylo Ren next to that, I'd think they were quite similar. Jedi Master Dooku. I wonder if we'll ever find out his actual name, like his first name, because all we know him as is Count Dooku or Darth Tyrannus. So I wonder if we'll actually find out his name. Yes, so him and his apprentice Qui-Gon Jinn. I always find it quite. It's a nice line. It's a nice heritage line of Jedi Masters to apprentices. So you got Yoda who taught Dooku, Dooku taught Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon taught Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan taught Anakin, and Anakin taught Ahsoka. So it's a nice heritage line, isn't that? And 2 of them go evil. 2 of them become Sith. 3 of them become Force ghosts. It's an interesting line, isn't it? I mean, Yoda and Obi-Wan also taught Luke Skywalker as well. So I guess that's another Force ghost. Luke, in kind of a way, taught Rey. Well, Luke also taught Leia, and then Leia and Luke's teachings is what taught Rey. And Kylo Ren as well. It's a very nice family tree of Jedi Masters and apprentices, isn't it? I wonder exactly what that senator is doing to let this happen. He's obviously keeping money for himself, because you see those guards when they turned up and his attire, the contrast of his attire and his guard's attire to how the people are living in that village is so contrast. You'd think they're from different planets. But it's supposed to be his planet, it's supposed to be his people, and they're living in absolute poverty while he's all decked out in his Gucci and Louis Vuitton, it looks like, as well as his guards as well. So I imagine he's keeping money for himself, but what else is he doing? So it's obvious corruption, and I remember that Dooku and the Separatists all came about because they thought the Republic was corrupt. And when you've got senators like Dagonet, that only furthers the point. And like I said in the reaction, every senator has got a dirty little secret. Even Padme, she's hiding a secret marriage. So yeah, a little bit of dark side, coming through in Dooku. He's obviously more elegant with it than Anakin is. He's more regal with it than Anakin is. but it's there. The same feeling is still there. Where he slips a bit towards the end when he starts choking out Dagonet. And honestly, in that cabin when he's talking to all the villagers, saying where's Dagonet's son, and then he finds out that all the villagers are implicit in it. When he stands up like quite fast, it's like, oh god, is he going to start threatening everyone? But yeah, Qui-Gon serves as like a mediator for that. He serves as like the one who's bringing him back. Whereas with Anakin and Obi-Wan, it's kind of the other way around, where the Master Obi-Wan is trying to bring down Anakin from the dark side. But this one, it's the apprentice, the idealistic apprentice kind of that balances out Dooku. And once again, Dooku in darker clothing, who's supposed to be the dark sider, and then the idealistic Obi-Wan who brings him back to the good side is Qui-Gon, who's dressed in lighter clothing. And then there's obviously Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, who they don't seem to have any problems. Like, there's no dark side temptation between them, and they're all in lighter clothing. But then there's also the fact that Qui-Gon is a bit more of a rebellious Jedi in Episode 1. I wonder if he gets some of that from Dooku. Because the way with Qui-Gon's attire is he wears... It's not quite as light. His attire is not quite as light as Obi-Wan's. There's got a bit of darker elements to it, like there's a bit more browns in there and stuff like that. Whereas Obi-Wan's is more a white, cream-coloured attire. So it's just little things like in the clothing. So that means Qui-Gon's a bit more of a rebellious Jedi. So I wonder if he's going to get that from Dooku. And yeah, eventually this Qui-Gon has to free the son to come out and stop Dooku from killing his father. But once again, it goes back to the thing, is the son's influence on his dad really going to change anything, or is he just going to come back when the son's not looking, when the son doesn't know about it, and he's just going to execute these villagers anyway? Because it's not like he can really stop his father if he tries to do that. If Dooku would have killed him right there, yes, it would have stopped his corruption, but would it have influenced how the son sees the Jedi? It definitely would have influenced how the son sees the Jedi. So would it have come out better or worse? Because you would have stopped Dagonet's... if you would have killed him, would it have stopped Dagonet? It would have come out better... Well, it would have come out better and worse, because it would have stopped Dagonet's corruption, but what consequences would have come upon the son, or from the son, if he did kill him? And what consequences may still come? It's very interesting and very thought-provoking, is it not? And honestly, once again, I cannot reiterate enough. The animation in this episode, the detail in the animation is top-notch. And Kevin Kiner, his wife, must have given him a great time the night before he did this episode, because the music was on point. He was in a good mood when he made this score for this episode. Kevin Kiner was on point. Should I get ranking out of the way? It's hard to rank a series like this, because episode after episode is so different. At least I think so anyway. But I think I liked this episode more, just because there was more action in it, and it's leading up to Dooku eventually becoming a Sith. It's showing exactly why. It's just a precursor to why he leaves the Republic and eventually creates the Separatists. So yeah, I think this episode just tops the last one. Just slightly. Because last episode we got like the origin of Ahsoka. Well, the very beginning of the Ahsoka, like literally the birth of Ahsoka. Whereas this is an origin for Dooku. And not to mention we saw Qui-Gon Jinn again, which is always a plus. Sadly it's not Liam Neeson, but who cares? Well, I mean, I care, but still. It's Qui-Gon Jinn. We're always happy to have more Qui-Gon Jinn. If only it would... I don't get it. They get Corey Byrne to play this old man's evil voice to play a younger Dooku, but they can't get But he can't get Liam Neeson to play young Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, I think Corey Burton's voice sounds older than Qui-Gon Jinn. But... Oh, excuse me. And we're back. So, what was I talking about? I think all I had left was... I don't think I had anything left. I think I only need to do the outro. Is there anything else? Just talking about how this episode was better than the last one. That was it. Just the ranking. Yeah, I think that's all I had. Parents, they couldn't wait like 20 more seconds, could they? But yeah, this episode of Tales of the Jedi has been fantastic. Design is fantastic. Music is fantastic. It's all fantastic. But yeah, that's all we've got for this week of Tales of the Jedi. Until next time, we are over and out. Bye!